Should Essendon begin actively shopping Zach Merrett to build a market and hopefully have 2 to 3 teams bidding for him during the trade period? Welcome everyone to the Eddie and Jimmy podcast, Ask Eddie and Jimmy, where we answer your questions. Eddie and Jimmy at Tapt, T-A-P-T, media.com.au. Make sure to find us on YouTube and Instagram. Just search Eddie and Jimmy. We've got to thank Fiji Airways and Hyundai, which I think Eddie might be going. I think the hotel he keeps telling us about every week is Kokomo's. I think he must have a 2-for-1 drink special there, and he gets to the airport in his Hyundai. Hyundai can do big things in the new Alexio. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. And Fiji Airways, visit fijiairways.com to book your flight to Fiji and beyond. Fiji Airways, where happiness takes flight. As I mentioned, Eddie might be guts up, as they say, on the beach there in Fiji, which means I've dragged Hirdy back in.
I'm just picturing Eddie guts up in Fiji. Sorry, Ed.
Enjoy your time, Ed. Of course, you're a bit stressed out, of course, working with Carl as they look to take on the universe.
Yes.
I've got you back for Wednesday, Hirdy. You know how this goes. You did it last year. Each week, we want to hear from our listeners. What are their questions, ideas, and thoughts on the game? I'll kick off this first one. Anything that's addressed to Ed, unfortunately, you're going to be the Ed for the day.
Okay.
It's SP433 jumpers. Hey, Ed, if you aren't able to buy a Scotch jumper, will you place a bid on the umpires jumper? Because they were incredible all day for the Pies.
They were pretty good, weren't they?
Oh,
they were pretty good. No, the Pies, I mean.
Oh, the Pies, the umpires.
Pies were good. No, I thought it was pretty fair. Look, I don't know what to say. I don't know. Whatever I say, I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm a friend of the umpires.
You paid for that friendship too.
I did.
You bought into the...
I was the umpires ambassador for 3 years. Did a lot of power work in the community for the umpires.
Yeah.
Do you want an answer or not?
I think you answered.
I'm not bidding on the umpires.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ruckman Brownlow. Could 2026 see the first Ruckman to win the Brownlow medal since Jim Steins back in 91? With the likes of Dacos, the Bont and Butters having standout games, form has been patchy and their teams are on the wrong side of the win-loss ledger. Max Gawn, Grundy and even Luke Jackson are dominating and their teams are in the top 6 winning. I remember as a kid watching Brownlows and Ruckman were always either winning or up near the top. Yep. Yeah, Scotty Wind, Ruckman who won the Brownlow. I'd like to see a Ruckman win it.
Who would be the favourite out of Jackson, Gawn and Grundy at the moment?
Oh, that's a great question.
I think Jackson would probably he's more explosive. I think the umpires see him more. But
he almost kickstarts Wharfy time, doesn't he?
He does, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But Gawn, I don't know you with Max.
Max was dominant in those early wins.
He plays a good first 3 quarters, but it's his last quarter.
Yeah.
He just explodes. Like as though he's just, just roaming around, playing okay or playing well, but then he goes into superstar mode in that last quarter.
So each of them have mid and mid-forward types who can take votes off them.
Yeah.
So Cozzie's start of the year.
Yep.
So that's the battle for the 3. Grundy's got Heaney battling him.
It's going to be hard for Grundy because he's got Heaney and Warner and ripping past the umpires.
Jackson's had Bolton start the year well, Murphy Reid, Sarong and Brayshaw are always big vote getters. Even Tracy
could be getting some votes.
Yeah. What about yourself? I'll say Max, just because you made me pick one, so I'm going to pick Max.
Yeah, Max. I'll go Jackson. But all 3 of them, you wouldn't be surprised if one of them. Because you know what happens when you start to poll, you start to poll well. It seems you poll in more and more and more games.
Yeah.
Because I think people underestimate how hard it is for an umpire to give a 3-2-1 after umpiring and then looking at the game. So you do understand that they do focus on bigger name players a little bit more.
Yep. A market for Merrett. Should Essendon begin actively shopping Zach Merrett to build a market and hopefully have 2 to 3 teams bidding for him during the trade period? Well, that's we're just talking about it. Like, we're not moving Merrett out of Essendon. But as far as a market, you know better than most, competitive tension is great.
Yeah. Look, I do not want Zach Merrett to go anywhere. I hope he stays. But if Essendon and Zach are thinking about parting ways, well, you're not sitting there in your lounge room doing nothing. You're actually trying to create and see what's out there so you can get the best deal.
You'd be trying to get Geelong involved. You'd be trying to get Gold Coast involved. You'd be trying to get as many bidders as possible because it's a time where you need to cash in regarding picks and players and whatever else you need because we know Tassie is getting closer and closer.
And these deals aren't done in trade week. Like they're set up. They're set up from either now onwards or even earlier than now.
The 20th licence. Thanks for that question, Nick. JJ. Joe Henderson here. JJ here, day one listener of the show, listening from Manchester, UK. I want to pose a question on the 20th team discussion. I know Canberra, Darwin and a third Queensland or Western Australia team have all been thrown up. Why hasn't a New Zealand team been mentioned anyone? If we want to grow the game, surely the biggest layup of all time is a team for our closest neighbours. If Pete Volandis has the sense to have a New Zealand team, the AFL would be silly to reject the idea. We've already outdone them on their own concept with Gather Round.
I think the difference with New Zealand compared to rugby league is rugby league is a strong,
it's a heartland
strong game.
Yeah.
I mean, rugby union's is their game in New Zealand, but rugby league they play it. They play soccer. They've never really played Australian rules football, or not recently. So I think that's the difficulty, is how do you build supporter base, how do you build support? I understand the concept. What is there, 3-4 million people in New Zealand, so it's a big market, but would anyone really care? They had the games there.
Yeah, at the kicked in.
Yeah, it wasn't that big, is it?
No, it's tiny.
Tiny, so that's a problem. I'd actually think about another... that corridor in New South Wales, north of Sydney,
the Central Coast stuff, or further,
yeah, all that area. That's a highly populated area and a very sporty area. So that's an area that I think it's underserviced when it comes to AFL football. I think Canberra, as much as I love Canberra because of I was born there and played all my football there as a junior, I think it's a great market. You're destroying the GWS if you put a team down there. So you either take GWS out of there if you want to put a team there, and Darwin has its issues just with weather. I think that's probably the hard part for Darwin.
The time zone would make sense.
Yep. Darwin.
Yeah, no, in New Zealand.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because
early game.
Yeah, because it's not. Normal time. It's normal match time, which is early, and then you can actually then start playing your game there, East Coast us, like that, and then across. So you actually almost are creating...
Was it 2 hours?
Yeah, a couple of hours, is it? 2 hours?
Maybe 2 or 3.
I'm glad you highlighted Isaac Heaney, and that doesn't get told enough that how amazing that actually he's from Newcastle.
Yeah.
Like, as rugby league heartland.
And soccer. Soccer's big in that area as well.
Yeah, and... going back to New Zealand, if you think it's been difficult for the Giants to break through in rugby league heartland, well, they got rugby league and rugby union because everyone wants to be an All Black as soon as they're born. So that'd be even harder sledding, and that'd take a lot of money to break ground there.
And it comes down to dollars. I mean, it comes down to dollars. How much extra TV revenue, sponsorship revenue can New Zealand bring to the game? Probably a bit. But if there's no core base, why not put it in LA then? Like if you're thinking about New Zealand, why wouldn't you put it in LA if you're thinking about a broader market? Well, California has more people than Australia does. So think even broader and put a team there. Get
bold, get brave. Ask Eddie Jimmy the hashtag. This is for Andrew. Obvious observations. I've been thinking about the 45-60 seconds loss after each goal. Eddie mentioned last week that this allows broadcasters to run ad, which helps fund the deals that make sense. But why does this still happen in games where Fox is the main broadcaster and doesn't run ads during play? Another thought on ruck contests of boundary throw-ins. Why do umpires need to identify the rucks first? Why not just throw the ball up immediately? If more than one player from a team contest, pay the free kick. That's excellent work, Andrew. Top of the class. Get a good sticker from me. Yeah, it's pretty easy. That one in that jumper, that one in that jumper. Oh, there's 2 bananas up there. Free kick. The nominating thing is stupid.
Is it because they don't want Ruckman to get hurt, or the Ruckman getting hurt because I can fake and then
that's exactly right.
Someone else can do it. But I think as long as you don't have someone faking, just 2 people go out normally. That's fine.
I'll go. The thing that hasn't come into our game is if they want to shorten the time is the subtle advertisement that other sports use, the little runner on the bottom or around near the scoreboard. It's when, again, we're our own game. We should just make our own rules. So let me just preface, let's just do our own thing. But if we're talking about this topic, how do you actually then still get the marketing advertising dollar by then shortening the time so they don't get the ads? Is, it's when the NBA or the NFL's on down near the score, they'll just have the little bit either side or underneath, like, better homes and garbage.
So an ad sort of runs as the game's going.
It's just down the bottom from 9:30 or, tune into Idol with James Hird as the host.
That'd be a riveting show. I wouldn't watch that myself.
You push your buzzer, get your team together.
Get off.
But you've seen it before in other sports. Like it's just like there and it comes up quickly and it's done. So that's That's just talking about that. I'm not saying we should do that.
I think the difficulty is going to be that the broadcasters are struggling so badly, the free-to-air broadcasters now, to make money, that they're going to want more ways to get adverts and more ways to get sponsors and advertisements into the games, because there's just no money. I mean, the free-to-air TV is really struggling. So for sport, if the AFL wants to continue to get broadcast rights continue to increase, the game wants to build more money, we're going to have to see more adverts than less.
And just on that broadcasting, broadcasters are looking for sports to give them the plan of how they actually generate more eyeballs, because you can't keep. They've already got that captured market, and so that's why the Giants make sense. Like from a broadcasting point of view, that's why your idea of, what you floated is, LA, because they're new eyeballs. Yep. So they want to look at the lifespan of our first year to, say, our seventh year in this deal. You've currently got 1 million participants, and over the course of the year, I'm just using average numbers here, 10 million people have watched the game. You've got to show us your plan, how you get that 1 million to 1.5 million as participants, and that 10 million viewership to 15 million.
Yep.
Because we're paying it for here, but you need to actually show us the growth in your game. You can't be stagnant here. So how do we expose it to new people?
And it's the argument for the northern markets.
Yeah.
It's the argument for Queensland, New South Wales, that there's still not saturation point of people watching it. There's still eyeball growth in those two areas. And that's why you got people arguing for the academies, arguing for grassroots, so that you can get people involved, get people engaged. Whereas, there's not going to be much growth in people watching AFL football in Victoria, in South Australia, West Australia, even Tassie. There might be a few more growth, but Tassie's not about eyeballs. Tassie's about grassroots football and rewarding them for the game. Whereas that New Zealand argument that if you think you can grow eyeballs, there's an argument there. But that's why, be bold. If you put a team in LA and you can grow an extra 2 million eyeballs, well, that is would enhance the TV rights for the game.
Thanks for your question, Andrew. You are top of the class. Joel's up next. Bad camera angles. Hi, guys. Is there any reason why the camera at the SCG has to be at a low level? Lateral kicks on the outer wing are quite deceptive. They can look like 5-metre kicks, but in reality are 20-metre kicks. Surely they can set up a camera on the roof of the Brawongle stand to mitigate this. Let's not forget when the fans' head blocked the view of Buddy's 1000th goal. It does look like it every time you watch. When they kick on the far wing, they're only kicking at 2 to 3 metres. And I absolutely loved roasting the broadcaster when they had Buddy's shot and there's someone in the way. Because it wasn't the first time that happened.
No.
If you go back, Ollie Florent had a shot for goal and he thought he kicked the winner and it went up like that, and then someone's head just went, having a look. I don't know who thought, that's a great spot for it. We can shoot the back of someone's head every single time.
It obviously must be difficult to get a camera at the right angle, the right spot, but why not? The Sydney Cricket Ground's been there for 100 years or so. Maybe we could have got it worked out.
And while we're doing that one, we've known with the fixture, because this isn't the release part of the fixture, this was the fixture that was in place at the start of the year, that the Hawks were playing the Crows in Lonnie. And yes, there's a redevelopment going on, but we've known that redevelopment just didn't spring up this week.
There for a while.
So part of the redevelopment thing, hey, we're going to need to put a little bit of scaffolding because we're going to whack a camera in there, and they probably should have shot the ground properly and present it. And why didn't they actually shoot it back the other way? So I'm going to quickly, this makes for good podcasting. I'm going to bring up a photo, and you tell me how this doesn't present a whole lot better. Where are we? So I'll show that for the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, good cameraman, isn't he? Look at that.
Looks great.
How great does Lonnie look?
Yeah, amazing.
So instead, we shot it off centre and we shot scaffolding and redevelopment. But we've known.
Yeah.
We've known for 4 to 5 months. Do you want a close look at my photo?
Oh, I saw it.
Thanks.
Saw it.
Thanks. Should be a postcard, that.
Did you take that?
No, that was via social media, which then someone sent on to me. Okay. But they could have presented it even better.
It didn't look great, particularly for, you can understand on your late Sunday or late Saturday or something that's sort of tucked away game, but that's the Thursday's the marquee slot.
Correct.
Now with everyone watching it should be done better than that.
Sean, Or Sean. He spells his with a S-E-A-N. Premiership favourites. You like that, didn't you, Richard? Hi, Jimmy. Geelong, the Premiership favourite after convincing wins against Brisbane and ladder leaders Sydney. Ooh.
They go close. I think
they've elevated themselves into that
particularly where they were at the start of the year. That Gold Coast game, I went, oh dear, I'm in trouble. And I think 3 or 4 weeks later, lost to Port Adelaide. Did they lose to Port?
Yeah, Port Adelaide got a hold of them.
I was like, oh, they're not looking good, and they're a bit old and a bit slow, and Danger's still playing. Is Tom Stewart? Can he still?
Manners out of form.
That's right. Yeah. Well, they've proved that Tom Stewart can still mark the ball. Danger still runs pretty fast, and when Bailey Smith hits targets, they're pretty hard to beat. But I think that's why you've got to respect and admire what Chris Scott has done.
Yeah.
The last, however long he's been coaching for, he continually comes up with a plan. He's forward planning. The way he used that forward handball against Collingwood to get them ready for Brisbane and then get them ready for the Swans, I thought was excellent.
Certainly in Premiership contention. Thanks to everyone for all your questions. I've just had in my ear, Eddie's going to take another day in Fiji. He's ordered 3 extra pina coladas. He's got the coconut oil out. So you're going to have to come back tomorrow because we'll talk tomorrow. We'll get our predictions for the round ahead. Make sure you follow Eddie and Jimmy wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks to Hyundai and Fiji Airways, always great partners here. And make sure you can find us on Instagram and YouTube. Just search Eddie and Jimmy.